right. Um, let's look to the future for a moment in terms of, what do you see, 2, 3, 4 years down the road in terms of, AI in the cloud, automation in the cloud, what milestones do you think might happen, and how can a company get ready for that now?
So outside the AI space, I think automation in the cloud is here and now. There's no,
Yeah,
we're not waiting for anything. We're
right,
really just waiting for people to adopt, right?
right.
Um, you can build environments today that go from code in a source repository to fully deployed and running with no humans. We do it every day. I think that's here and now. In the machine learning, in the AI ML space, I think we're going to see these auto ML tools advance substantially over the next couple of years. And I would be very surprised if all of the hyperscalers didn't have a series of releases in the space over the next couple of years.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You saw when the ML tools kind of first came out, all the hyperscalers, like back to back, they're dozens of releases of ML tooling. I
Right.
think the next stop on that train is auto ML, which is to say you don't need a human to build your model.
Right.
They're going to be self-building, self-tuning models.
I mean, I guess at a certain level, you do need a human to design the model originally, to conceive of the model, but to actually deploy the model, maybe it could be auto ML. And if I'm understanding that correctly.
Yeah, I mean, auto ML is more than about deploying it. So automatically deploying models is already, again, that's relatively straightforward. But the hard part in machine learning is building a model.
Uh-huh.
And what we want to do, and tuning a model. And where we want to get to with auto ML is automatic models that automatically can be built and tuned. And look, it may start from a generic model that solves a generic kind of problem and then kind of tune itself to your problem. And there can be increasingly more sophisticated ways to do that.
Did you get a sense in terms of AI and deploying AI? I mean, I was talking to one executive, and he said to me that only about 4% of companies have successfully deployed an AI project. I mean, that number can vary wildly. I've heard other surveys that say it's much higher, 30 or 40%, depends who you ask and how you phrase the question. But do you sense that companies are still struggling to get on board with artificial intelligence, or do you think it's more there than maybe we think it is?
No, look, I think everyone is trying. I'd be, you look at any sort of major enterprise customer today. They've got people working on ML problems, but how often are those models making it to production? So,
Right.
there's the building of a model and the research that goes into it. Then there's deploying it to production and having it do inference. That is having it actually do its predictions in the wild, in production.
Right.
And I think that is a very low percentage. I think, unfortunately, a lot of ML projects it's stuck as a science experiment.
Right.
Actually, one of the things I advise customers as they embark on an ML journey is don't seek the perfect model that has the perfect answer. Actually build something quickly and quickly get it integrated into your production process. So that all the changes you have to make around the periphery and how you deploy your application and how data comes in and goes out and how the predictions are utilized by other systems, get that stuff hooked up and wired in. You can always improve the model. The model will get better over time, but getting it productionalized actually gives you the sort of it helps the business need to then enhance the model. Now the model's being used. Now it's predicting results and people want it to get better.
So get a first draft out there and then improve that first draft instead of waiting for real perfection to deploy it.
Correct, because it's only going to get easier to perfect the model over time. You're going to have more data. You're going to have more insight yourself. You're going to, again, get these auto ML solutions. They'll get better. And you will have solved for how do I deploy this thing? And you'll have all the automation built around it.
Tolga, I think you said it. Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of an MSP, AI, automation? What's been on your mind? Something important that I think people would need to know about in those areas? What would you say?
No, I think my advice to everybody that's adopting the cloud today is twofold. Generally, outside of this ML space, make sure you're adopting the cloud in a way that respects what's unique about the cloud. That is ultimately the foundation for enabling you to take advantage of all these advanced tools later, whether it's low code tools or auto ML tools. They're only going to be available to you if you respect the way the cloud works as you migrate to the cloud. That's number one.
You mean
number two,
the hyperscale notion of it, or the flexibility of it? Is that when you say that?
Yeah, I mean, just what's unique about it. So embrace the fact that it should be used in a more ephemeral way. Embrace the fact that you should have immutable infrastructure. embrace the fact that infrastructure should be defined as code and automated, right? And so make those transformations and start to adopt a DevOps mentality and an agile mentality inside how you build and deploy and operate applications. If you make those changes, you'll have the structural, the foundational needs met to then go look at low code solutions, auto ML solutions, and those.
Right. Was there a second idea there, or did you express that?
That was, yeah, I guess the second idea was, there's no better time than now to just get started. Like these are not big investments to start. That's what's amazing about the cloud, right? It's all essentially consumption oriented. And so why not try some of these new tools and start building some small applications there and get familiar, so no time better than the present.
Great. Tolga, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Greatly appreciated it. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
You too.